Hello everyone, welcome back to Ingram Orchids and More. Today we have a very special segment. Our lovely friend Sandy, if you remember from her wonderful, beautiful collection, she's back again, and we have scheduled a Grey's Anatomy episode on Cattleya warneri alba.
So she has brought it to the doctor. There's a little bit of either Pythium or Phytophthora, known as black rot, in here, and the patient's mother has told me that she has already tried to cut it out and it has been unsuccessful. So we are going to go with drastic measures. We're going to remove it. We're going to clean it up. Removing the infected material, it may end up having to be multiple pieces, and then we're going to treat it, and hopefully we'll stop it so we don't lose this plant.
Because it's a cool species.
Yeah,
and it's alba.
I initially brought her to the doctor. This was an intervention. She's slowly killing herself.
Oof.
So
Oof.
she needed professional help.
Okay. All right. Oh, does that mean you're a professional?
Semi-professional.
Semi-professional. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandy's going to be a professional camera woman. And here we go. I have to go wrangle
I'm
children.
going to make this look like it was really easy, but what I've already done is I've already cut the roots away from the wood, so this is going to just be real ASMR. Oh wow, look at how easy that was. It came right off. But there you want to see, I don't know what kind of wood this is, but
I don't either.
It looks like it's been on here for years, and there's very little decay. I mean, it's rotten where the pieces are thin, but the wood is still very hard and intact, so this was probably a nice piece of wood. It may have been like a piece of buttonwood or something.
Would it be reusable, or do you advise against?
I would. It's lived its life. It's had
Oh, all right. To the fire pit she goes.
Job. Yeah. So this is going to be very tedious. We may not make you watch all of this, but we're going to clip away all the old roots, find where all the infection is, and remove all the infection, just like you would with surgery.
Well,
we're going to make sure we're going to peel back any of the sheathing material, because oftentimes that can hide what's wrong. You see the black bulbs in there, and if you pull a sheath back, you can see at the base of the bulb it's black, so it's hiding in there. You can tell that there is an issue.
necrotic tissue
Yeah. And I can
is the issue.
Yep. So we may just start by being, just ripping, and then we'll be a little more delicate with it as we get most of the material out of there. Because it looks like there's still a lot of good tissue in here that's salvageable.
Is that back just all roots now? Is there any wood left?
There's no wood. I completely peeled it away. It basically just grew on the wood, and then it started to grow on itself. So it didn't, for whatever reason, the plant did not circumnavigate the wood. It just kind of compounded upon itself, and I think that's kind of why this sort of thing starts to happen. Is after a while, the plant starts growing on itself, and you have all these old bulbs and rhizome that are submerged under all this decaying organic material, and it's staying constantly wet right there, even though it's melted.
Is it wet right now?
It's moist.
Well,
it's not soaking wet, but considering how dry it was today, I assume you didn't water this today.
I haven't watered it since I moved it out of the rain like 4 days ago.
So yeah, that's probably why the black rot started, because would you like to insert your finger and feel how it is moist? There's some moisture.
Oh.
And if it doesn't completely dry out, that's a recipe for disaster. And in the wild, it's incredible that they live at all, because with a clump like this, it's a wonder not they don't all die. But
maybe the elevation.
Oh man, it does. I've seen a lot of plants die. It's survival of the fittest in nature, but here it's survival of the plants that we want to keep alive. I might just be able to clip all of that out and then just clean it up a little bit and it'll be done. So I'm going to just try and remove as much of this infected chunk as I can. and I can see your cinnamon or something. It smells very good because I'm burning through whatever the cinnamon or whatever it is, and it's very aromatic.
I didn't have any cinnamon, so I used allspice.
Well,
I figured it has cinnamon in it. Maybe it'll be a little beneficial.
So here is our infected material.
Oh, of course, where all the new growth is. Great.
Yeah, it always happens in the softest, newest tissues, unfortunately. And you can see, you're like, oh, well, that was good. And then you pull that sheathing back and you realize it's all brown and mushy at the bottom.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, this piece goes to Orchid Heaven.
Goodbye, rest in peace.
And let's see, you really want to make sure we get all of the infected material out.
I'm falling off the chair.
See, that was what was hiding. There's new growths in there that are doing that. So that means that the spores are making their way around the plant, unfortunately. And I think the safest thing to do would be to cut it up into chunks and get rid of a lot of this root material, but I will leave it to you. We can cut a little more and do some more trimming and try and leave it as a whole chunk and treat it. But if you do that, the chances of it coming back are greater than if you were to just cut it up and bare root it.
I would say whatever is better for the overall longevity of the plant. Like if it has to be cut up, it has to be cut up.
Yeah, okay, well we may be able to keep it larger chunks so we don't have to totally butcher it, because it is now September and that's not the best time of year to be doing this, especially to species cats. But alas, we have to do what we gotta do. So
when would be a better time to do this?
spring, but in this case, you gotta do what you gotta do. So if it's
I don't know if there'd be any plant left come spring.
Yeah, no. In an ideal world, but this is not ideal. So I think what I'm going to do is cut like right here, because it seems like we have two nice halves of this plant, and that will allow us to get rid of this oldest material where there's a lot of decay. Because as we examine the backside, besides those couple of spots, I don't see too much more, but all this extra root covering the rhizome could be hiding it.
That was my thoughts as well.
I hope there's no metal buried in here.
I really, truly do not know.
It's always like, you think, oh, there's nothing in there that will bend your clippers, and then you go through and there's just a chunk of steel.
Didn't that happen with the Isle of Skye division?
It might have been, yeah. Oh, I think, yeah, there was like a pot clip or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it happens. All the old root material out in here. So I want to be able to visualize where the best part of the rhizome is, so we do the least amount of damage. People will ask why you cut away so many good roots after you've disturbed. Oh, well, see, I broke a growth there. But when you've disturbed healthy roots in this manner by ripping them off, most of them are going to die back. So
What did you say earlier? It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Sounds like salad.
Yeah, it's ASMR.
Whoa.
Look at that solid mass of roots. There's not a whole lot of dead material in here. I do see some old bulbs. We got to get rid of that. But that was just a ginormous mass of old roots. Which that's a good thing, you know. At least the plant's making roots.
How old do you think this plant is, or how long has it been growing on this?
It's hard to say. Plants that are vigorous and get plenty of nutrients can look like this in like 2-3 years. But if it happens to be a slower plant, so especially since it's alba, and let's just say, not that you didn't take good care of it, but if conditions weren't right, I mean, I could see something like that taking, you know, 5-10 years.
I think the person who had it before me had it for a long time.
Yeah. So, and they may have just had a big plant and then they just mounted the whole clump on there. It's hard to say. But considering how many bulbs are here, if it's all just one single plant with all these bulbs, it's probably pretty old. And now that I say that, for this amount of root growth, I would be highly skeptical that it's just less than 10 years old. So, but all of this eventually catches up to the plant. So that's why it's like really hard to get these cultural awards. Like if you have a really nice big specimen plant, it is its own feat that is commendable, because the bigger a plant gets, sometimes the harder it is to keep it going. They do well for a long time, but after like 10-15 years, every year you're just taking the chance that disease or something could come in and just start messing with the plant, and then you have to do this, and then you don't have a specimen plant anymore. So when you have like somebody who's got like a huge Cattleya, it's like, wow, you really know what you're doing. Been able to keep a Cattleya nice for 10+ years, that says something.
I feel like if I had a really controlled environment, I could probably do it, maybe.
I feel like greenhouse conditions, yeah.
Yeah.
But doing the old outside Florida growing, where
the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way, Mother Nature throws some curveballs in the form of black rot. And most of this old material here is all dead roots anyways, so we don't want to leave that on the plant.
Does it smell bad?
No.
Does it have any smell at all?
I don't want to touch it again, but I did not actually smell it. So my guess is probably this is Pythium. I did not smell any foul odor when I cut off those infected bulbs.
What is Pythium?
It's one of the water molds that Pythium and Phytophthora are both different genre of Mycodia, and they both cause black rot. So people will just go by black rot because without doing like an ELISA test, it's really hard. Or looking at the zoosporangia underneath the microscope, it's really hard to tell which you have.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that looks. Let's pull that off.
I feel like you need a GoPro like strapped to your head.
Yeah. Or one of the body, the chest mounted one.
Yeah.
So basically I'm just shaving it by, coming in at an angle and trying to get down. And see, this is why. See right here where I started shaving, I cut into some old rhizome, and you see the discoloration. That means that rhizome there is either infected or dying off, and in either case, we don't want it. We want to get it out of here. So we might end up having to cut a little more, but this is why. See, if we had just left it whole, we'd have all this material and all this hidden tissues down here that could be potential reinfection points. So that is why it is best to bare root them and examine as much of the tissues as you can. All right, we'll see we're down to good, better wood there, and then once we get down to better wood, we're gonna torch again.
Wood?
I say wood, it's not wood. To good tissue.
Tissue. need to get one of those torches like that. Mine is a little thing.
Everybody needs one of those. They're really expensive. And look, we have a caterpillar. Looks like a little army worm.
Ew.
You gotta go, buddy. You have got to go. Get out. Get out of there.
What is an army worm?
I don't know, it might not be an army worm. But some sort of caterpillar eating plant material and using his little feet to spread spores
Disease.
around. That's why, like, even stuff like fungus gnats and stuff, you know, you want to get rid of those too, because fungus gnats can spread Pythium and Phytophthora spores and Fusarium spores. Just because they're gnats and they're, you know, they're just hanging out, not doing too much, don't think it's so innocuous. Looking for good wood. Good healthy green tissues.
I was gonna say, you said wood again. There is no wood left.
It's no wood. Alright, so here, see that? Not good material. See here the discoloration, it's yellow and brown there.
It's out of focus. I don't know how to get it.
It doesn't want to focus. Maybe if we hold it up to something. So that was hiding in there. So we got to get rid of that. So there's our discoloration of the tissues right there. That's all. It's hard to see, but right there is the rhizome tissue that's infected. Old root material here. See, all these old bulbs are hiding. And this may just be older bulbs, but there's a chance, you know, that there's infectious material in there. Got to get it out. So it's a good thing we opted with the drastic measures. We'll sweep that up later. We're looking better. Not there yet. Yeah, now that I'm digging into this, this had to have been quite old. This is a lot of root development for this plant. This is a lot.
So you're saying I made the right decision?
You did. Well, it could have been a bad decision. This plant,
It could die.
I could do a hack job and not know what the hell I'm doing. This whole plant be dead, and then I'd be like, "Hey, Tristan, you killed my plant."
Well, one more reason for me to go shopping, I guess. I would probably cry a little bit.
I cried. I don't know if you saw the video about the Certipodiums. I had the black rod. Yeah, no, I cried a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I did it in the shower like a man. So nobody can hear it. Just weep. Damn Certipodiums.
No one can see my tears. Not even I can see my tears.
I need one of those jeweler cameras, the ones that the one instead of like a GoPro, but it's like on your head and it's like the zooming.
Yes.
Where you can like see or is that macro? So this section is what I'm worried about, because after the heat of the torch, you know, when you cut it, it'll be green, but the heat will make it discolor within like a few minutes. So you're like, oh, is that bad tissues, or is it just heat from the torch that's made it go brown?
And the heat also cauterizes the wound.
It does. That's why it's good to sterilize too, but I'm also keeping them hot for that reason, yeah. Because when you do this, another thing, you're inevitably cutting through clean roots as well. You know, nice healthy roots. And so if they're not hot, you may be just moving infected sap or infected material up into good healthy roots. And that can still be the case, but if you get them really, really, really sizzling hot, you know, there's less chances of that. So food for thought. Sometimes your clippers, the heat will start moving down the handles, and you'll go to pick it up, and even the handles will be really hot. And you're like, ah!
I have definitely burnt myself more than once on my own shears. I need to sharpen mine. They're getting a little dull.
Oh yeah, those Corona, the Corona shears sharpening thing, I like those a lot. It's like a flat, like tungsten, it's just an angle, and you drag it at the right angle and it just pulls off metal material, which I actually need to do with these because they're getting a little bit dull. I like to use sharp tools around here.
I mean, it's the doctor's office, I would hope so.
See how the heat starts to turn the material, that was green a second ago, and the heat has now made it go brown. So you're like, oh, is it bad tissue, or is it just because of the heat?
There's so much material from all of that.
I know.
I wonder if the caterpillar was eating the flowers too, because they look like they have some bites taken out of them.
They eat everything, man. Any soft, they eat root tips. I bet you. They're going for the root tips and the soft new tips of the growths as they're emerging. Anything that's soft and they could chew on without, you know, that's not tough, they're gonna be like, that's fair game. Okay. I think we're going to close your eyes, don't look.
The parting of the warneri.
Or cleaner area over here, or dirtier area over there.
That looks like it is also moist in there.
It is, but we are now down to mostly living roots. We've got most of the old dead roots away. So now I am contemplating, do I continue or do we call it good? Or maybe I'm just being lazy.
Yeah, I can see the green in the center of the new roots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, newer roots.
Yeah. Just really want to make sure we don't leave any bad wood, infected material. So you gotta look them over. Because we're going to soak it in probably something like Ban Rot and Ridamel, or maybe Heritage and Ridamel, and the Ridamel needs root absorption to be effective, so we want to leave some roots. So I think this piece is good.
Wow!
That's a good piece.
This is off topic, but how far north do Tempensis grow in Florida?
I think, I'm not good with Florida's counties. Definitely up north of here. I want to say north even of Orlando. I think as you go north, it's closer to the coast. So the center of the state, I feel like there's less of them.
Okay, so like north central Florida, they would not really hanging out.
I don't think they grow out all the way up to Ocala, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me.
I was thinking about giving my dad some of the ones that I have, because he has a lot of huge live oaks that they would probably do great in, but it does get significantly colder there than it does here.
Yeah, and the further north you go, you start getting into the Epidendrum canopsium territory.
Who's she?
It's not the crane fly. Is it the green fly orchid? Is the common name? It used to be known as Epidendrum magnoliae, but I think canopsium may be the accepted species name now, but it's got a little tiny green and yellow flower.
Ooh.
It's not very showy, but it's cute. It's actually too hot this far south for them.
Maybe I should get a bunch of those. I'm Christmas shopping.
I've had one and it died.
Well, it was here, wasn't it?
It was.
So they're a little bit of a cooler grower then.
They are. They don't. I don't think they're reported in Manatee County. I think, but I've not seen them around here in the wild, so I don't know how far south. I feel like Hillsborough County, maybe they grow a little bit more
okay.
commonly. And then all the way up, I think maybe even to like South Carolina.
Oh.
Maybe I could be just completely wrong. I feel like there might be reports of them in like on the coast of like Louisiana, maybe all the way up into the Panhandle. I could be wrong, but I know it's like North Florida you have Epidendrum canopsium, and in South Florida you have like everything else. My
dad has some of my orchids that I give to him when I don't have space anymore, and they're all doing really well, and they didn't do very good for me, so I don't know what he's doing that I'm not doing or didn't do.
The benign neglect.
Yeah, I guess.
But just enough that they don't.
Or maybe he's paying way more attention to them than I did.
Way more attention, and he's like, every day, is there fungus? Is there any bacteria?
I think he does, because I got him into Neos, and he says that he's out there every day looking at them.
Then yeah, he's probably just very observant. Anytime there's anything wrong, address it immediately.
Oh, he is who I got my green thumb from, so.
Nip it in the bud before it becomes a problem.
He did just get, I think it's Thai crud on his sesquipedales.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Thai crud, that's Guignardia and Philosticta. Those, I mean, it affects different plants differently. But in using Vanda, it makes those diamond-shaped lesions. But I feel like in Angrappins, it doesn't usually make those lesions that are characteristic. They look a little more round.
Round?
Like round.
Round spots?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it looks like, because I had a Vanda with Thai crud on it. Actually, that really nice Canda, I think it was, that I bought a few months back, got it on there, which was sad. But he was like, what is this? Is it gonna die? And I was like, no, it's just ugly now.
Yeah, it's just ugly, it's contagious. It can become so much that it like weakens the plant a little bit, but usually it's like it sucks because it doesn't kill the plant, but it's also really contagious and it spreads to other plants, and it's really hard to get rid of it. And so it's like you still want to try and control it, because it, even though it doesn't directly kill the plant, it weakens the plant, makes the ugly foliage, and then spreads to other stuff.
It's all by itself, which is good, but I'll let him know to keep it away from other plants. And it doesn't kill the plant, right? It's just ugly.
It's just ugly, but to control it, you need to like remove the affected.
Which is the whole plant at this point.
If it's the whole plant, yeah, it's either like put it away from everything else, or just throw it away.
Oh, it is just a seedling, so I don't know if it'll survive. If you said it weakens the plant, so
it can. If it's across the whole plant, it can weaken it.
What should he treat it with?
Something like Eagle, Heritage, Pageant, thymel or van rot, those will work too.
Van rot did not work for me.
I was about to say, I feel like a lot of I don't know, this could be just speculation, but I feel like a lot of the Thai crud is becoming a little more resistant to thiophanate methyl, because it does seem to not be as effective as it used to be. So I think something different like Eagle, which is myclobutanyl, or Heritage, or one of the astrobulins would be a better option.
You've talked about Eagle before. Do you use that pretty often?
No, I usually only use it very sparingly, just so that, because it works really well, I try not to use it so much so that, like, you don't have the chance of, you know, it becoming
immune
to the chemical. But then again, if you look at the Vandas, I'm sure you'll find there's Thai crud on the Vandas and there's Thai crud on that Cherry Baby, so it's around, but just it doesn't affect a lot of the good plants that I like. So scoot it up.
It kind of smells like sweet potato pie.
A little bit, yeah. The burning tissue, yeah.
It smells good.
Yeah. And then,
pro tip, put cinnamon all over your plant before you cut it up.
And then, yeah, the cinnamon combined with the burning plant material, it's like we're roasting the plant.
Yum.
Oh,
it's a very expensive salad.
Very expensive. Very expensive salad that took a long time to grow. We're getting there. I still think I want to remove most of this older root material here. So, this is still probably like 80% dead right now. Dead roots. And I would be surprised if it looks real sad for a while before it looks better.
When you say real sad, what do you...
Like it just sulks.
Like the pseudobulbs are no longer plump and juicy?
Yeah, and then if you get some dieback, it's not disease dieback, it's just the oldest bulbs just withering away.
They're giving their life juice to the new bulbs.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
The circle of life.
So just because afterwards you start seeing bulbs brown off, is like, oh, is it new infection, or is it just the plant telling you it's not happy with what just happened?
I mean, I don't know how anyone would be happy after a procedure like this, but...
You removed half my body. But it's also like a testament to how tough orchids are. Everybody thinks about how weak orchids are, but I mean, you could do this to a Cattleya, and in 6 months' time, it come back and bloom again, and it, you know, just keeps on living.
And isn't it funny whenever you tell someone who's not into orchids, like, oh yeah, I have a ton of orchids, and by a ton I mean several hundred, and I'm obsessed with them, and they're always like, oh, I can't even keep one from the grocery store alive, and it's like, the flowers fell off, so they threw it away.
Yeah. Well, unpopular opinion. Everyone's like, oh, Phalaenopsis are like the easiest orchids to grow, and I'm like, I think Phalaenopsis are some of the hardest to grow in our environment.
Even not the novelty ones, but the regular ones?
All of them. I do grow the novelty ones, but like any intergeneric Phalaenopsis, the larger varieties that you see a lot, I don't think I have any alive still.
Oh!
There's a few in the trees. They just hang out because I neglect them, and I look at them and I don't do anything at all to them. Those are a few alive, but I killed so many just regular males. And I'll tell you why. They get bacterial rot every summer when it's hot, when it's wet. They get crown rot.
Oh yeah.
Or they'll get just a fungal crown rot as well during the winter time. And I'm just like, to heck with it. I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm pretty good with the intergeneric ones, but the novelty ones I've had a lot of trouble with. That I think it's Phalaenopsis Nagasaki that I got. I remember you saying it was hard to grow, and it's doing very well.
So here's where we kept cutting.
You're like, I'm gonna disregard that statement completely and move on.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Infected material. See, it didn't look infected from the outside. Infected material. So we gotta get rid of that. We're just gonna go ahead.
Look at it.
We're gonna go ahead.
Yeah, and you would never know because it looks so healthy.
See, even the next bulb up looked healthy on the outside.
Ah, and it had just bloomed.
Yeah, and see how all the infected tissues at the base there? This gotta go.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. In fact,
just that whole chunk.
That whole chunk, see? This is why we kept cutting. See it at the base here? It is hiding out. And if we had just treated it chemically, we would have just merely slowed it down for a while, and then anything the chemical didn't kill would have just reactivated and spread around, and you'd have been calling saying, "I want my money back. You did a shit job." She's not paying me, guys.
I was like, "Am I paying you? How much do you want?"
It would be funny though. It'd be like,
I mean,
plant's dead.
I will pay you for your services if you wish.
No.
Okay.
I thought we were done before, and we weren't. Just want to be extra sure. I'll give it a chemical bath here in a minute.
To be thorough.
Yes, to be thorough. To be patient.
Ooh, what about that one?
See, I don't think this is a problem. This is older sheathing material that has turned blackish brown, but when we peel it back, we're still nice and green underneath. We're still nice and green. What do you look like? You look okay. You look okay. See, that's what I don't like that. It's old dead plant material and it's going somewhere. Sometimes they use that like pry on it with the tip of the clippers. I was like, oh yeah, see?
Oh.
Where? See,
Secret.
That guy was hiding out in there. See, I don't think that was actually a diseased bulb. I think
it looks
that was just
old.
a really old bulb.
Ooh, it's real mushy. It feels like a caterpillar.
We still don't want it in there. When you've got diseased plants, if it's not living tissue, it's better to get it out, whether it's infected or not.
Another old pseudobulb.
If we weren't videoing, what I'd be doing would be just leaving this on.
The whole time.
At a faster pace, you shave, you torch, you shave, you torch, you shave, you torch. But no one would be able to hear anything. All right, see, we're down to better wood there. Or better tissue, sorry. Bad habit. I think we can safely call this. No, we cannot.
Oh.
That.
Oh.
No, we can't.
That's a nasty one.
That is a nasty one. See? This is why we gotta be thorough. that guy going? That nasty bulb.
I feel like every time you turn that torch on, that Cattleya over there is like, oh god.
It's like it's shaking in fear. It better, because it had friggin' black rot, and I love that. That's my Schusteriana, or Laelia purpurata variety Schusteriana.
Ooh.
I had to like treat it twice and cut material out. But look, it's in lava rock, and it's still got black rot.
Yeah, my walker that was in lava rock you'll see it. It's in pieces now.
I'm threatening it with a blowtorch. It's shaking. Because it's like, oh, you can burn me? I'll give for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's
What would you do if I ate it?
I don't think I would. You know, not every plant has been studied for its phytochemistry. Although what kind of secondary metabolites are in there, you have no idea whether warneri might be the source of the world's next new best poison.
Or the world's next best psychedelic.
Yeah, for all you know, you could go on a real trip.
I recently found out about a mushroom called God's flesh.
Not heard of that one.
Apparently it's it'll take you somewhere.
Like the ER?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think that one's good. So here was our hidden bulb.
Yeah.
That over there. Where were you attached? That's the question. What were you attached to? See, that's not black, that's just the material. I can see the green.
Oh yeah, the little.
Nubbin. See, if you didn't know anybody, you're like, oh, it's black, gotta get rid of it. No, it's not.
It's a knob.
Okay, that's better tissue there. Better tissues.
Oh wait,
You're
what
gonna
about
need
that?
a tissue. Wait, where?
Right there. Is that just sheath?
That is just an eye, and I just damaged it by
that's okay.
Inspecting it.
I don't think that this plant is gonna be focused on that.
Yeah, but I see, sometimes you'll see that material covering an eye, you're like, oh, it's black, and then what I just did was just inadvertently did damage it by inspecting it. But it was good all along.
She don't need to be growing pseudobulbs right now. She needs to be growing roots. Well, I guess new pseudobulbs do mean new roots, but
yeah, we're growing roots. We're growing roots. Remember, if you can grow a healthy plant, you're gonna grow
Plant.
Here. It's been a long day.
well, I appreciate you taking time to help me.
No problem.
I say as I stand here doing nothing.
Oh, you're doing something. I'm making you hold this camera.
I am holding onto it very tightly. My hand has gone numb a couple times. I don't know why I'm holding onto it so tightly.
Those roots aren't attached to anything, so they gotta go.
I feel like the thing of roots is as big as the plant was.
You are really good at growing up roots. I commend you.
I've only had this plant for a year-ish. I do think.
If you can grow good roots, the plant will usually take care of itself. I don't think it's worth it, but we'll save it. That's not my plant. That little piece there. Those are our scraps. All right, now we can clean up and we'll get back to you. We'll do our chemical treatment. Okay, we're back. We're gonna take our plants out of our chemical. We're gonna, all right, now that we got them, we're gonna take them, we're gonna throw them in the trash. Jokes, just jokes.
They had a nice little bath.
And had a nice nuclear chemical bath.
Acid rain.
Dipped them in some ban rot and ridamel. That'll teach the black rot. Get that out of there so we can Put that in our sweet tea later.
Mmm.
It's all right. So these are your plants. You tell me. Where are we going? Are we gonna mount? Usually, the best advice would to let this sit and then mount it after.
Oh, I mean, I can mount it later. We don't have to mount it right now.
But we can too. I mean, it's not like a big deal. Especially since we bare rooted them and we're putting them on clay. It's not like we're putting them into a bark mix. That's gonna stay wet, so the plants are still gonna be dry. So it's probably not a big deal if we're putting them on the clay.
Okay.
But just so everyone's aware, what we should do is let it sit dry for a while.
Do as I say, not as I do.
All right. You tell me what we're doing, Sandy.
I don't know why I sat down. Oh,
what piece?
Let's see. There's so many big pieces.
So many pieces here. We can just put some of these pieces.
One is this one. One of these are skinny, and the other one is fat. So probably the fatter pieces on the fat.
Okay, that sounds good to me. And yeah,
probably just one fat per fat.
And then
I might have to.
If there's extras, I guess you just do that later.
I mean, do you want a chunk of it? Since you cut it up.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree.
I mean, you couldn't take a chunk of it, and then I don't have to decide where I'm gonna mount it. That'll be your problem.
So I think here, unless you think differently.
Nope. Wherever you think. Compositionally, I do not care.
Okay. I really don't want to break this.
If you do, it's fine. I'll just make another one.
I don't normally do clay mounts, so I feel really nervous.
They're pretty durable. I mean, they're just terracotta, but to me, they don't really mean much because they're my own thing.
Well, if you ask Catherine, I'm very good at breaking things, so I really hope I don't break this. I'm doing this with gloves on, so it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Wow. There she goes.
Get it nice and tight. You want it to not wiggle, and it's still wiggling, so not tight enough. That's better. Not my finest job. We could do another to make this look nicer.
Take some garnish.
Some garnish, yeah. You'll have to find something to do.
Do you want to take that one?
I would not take the big one because that would be the most likely to survive and do well. And
oh, okay.
Terrible. How about that one?
I mean, yeah, whatever piece you want.
And then we can, yeah, as you said, garnish. We can put these littler pieces on here, and then one day it'll have the illusion of being one entire continuous piece, even though we did cut it up today. Yeah, it's been here forever.
Yeah, this is where I came from. I was born here.
It's always been on this mount.
Forever. Really, Cindy? These glazes haven't been available to the public in...
Normally I wouldn't be doing this with gloves on, but since they are soaked in banrod and Iridomil, we're going to be on the safer side. That squirrel's making a lot of noise.
Oh, he's really going crazy. He's climbing up that thing. Actually, I think it's a lady squirrel.
I think it's a lady squirrel too. I think it has a nest in that palm tree.
That would make sense. She does look like she's either pregnant or was just pregnant.
Can you keep it down?
Don't make me call the
I
HOA.
see the video. You consider it squirrel?
Are we gonna have to blur her face?
She didn't consent, so.
Oh, there she goes.
I didn't consent to her living in the palm tree. We'll leave the plants alone. Occasionally they will eat, they will nibble on your orchids. And
The flower or the green? Or both?
any of it. For whatever reason, they seem to like take chunks out of staghorn ferns. I don't think they're eating it. I think they're just trying to excavate it. I don't know if it's for like nest material, but I've seen them take chunks out of staghorn ferns before. I'm like, why? What was the point?
Just for fun. Ooh, what's that plant up there blooming? It looks like a vanda, but it has rounded leaves.
That is Arides lawrenceana.
It's very pretty.
Or is it Lawrenciae? I don't know. Arides Lawrence.
There it is.
It's Lawrence. It's Arides.
I don't know how to zoom in, otherwise I would.
Okay. Well, since I'm with gloves, you may have to tighten these down later. But there.
Yay!
So, do we want to put your pieces of walker on something, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
What do you think this would be better on the fern piece or the clay piece?
I think this would do better on the front.
Okay, then let's put her on the fern.
She's a thick girl. I think it's going to take 3 small zippies. Small zippies. Squirrel is just. What are you doing?
Can you see it?
I can see it. It's on the outside of the
Oh,
screen
there it is.
there, just hanging out in the plants, which is making me nervous.
I mean, if you were a squirrel, wouldn't you hang out in the plants? I would.
She's taunting us. She's like, "You see these plants? I can eat these orchids anytime I want."
But the fact that I choose not to. She holds the power. Should I just stick like a wire hook through there to hang it up?
I would, yes.
Okay.
And I may even have a piece of wire behind it.
Oh. It sounds like bird. Or Sasquatch, I don't know.
It's Bigfoot.
I mean, you do live right next to the woods. That is his preferred, or her, preferred habitat.
I usually hear owls. I don't know what owls, but there's always owls making noise. I'm like, don't y'all usually make noise at night?
I mean, it is basically nighttime now.
I know, but I'll be hearing them in the daytime too. I'm like, aren't owls sleeping?
I actually don't know their sleep schedule.
They didn't consult me first.
That looks nice.
Thank you. I wouldn't consider it my best work, and so I was like, this seems haphazardly done.
I mean, it just looks nice on the fern.
Hopefully it'll attach soon enough that you can take these zip ties away, and soon usually is like a year.
I mean, in orchid time, that is pretty fast.
That is fast. People ask, like, why is my orchid not blooming? I've had it for 6 months. I'm like, most orchids only bloom like once a year.
Boy, do I've got some news for you, buddy.
An orchid that blooms more than once a year, you're lucky. You got something that's good.
You have a phalaenopsis.
You have a phalaenopsis. Or a fail typed in. Or
Or a really, really prolific Cattleya.
Yeah, like the golden peacocks.
Yeah.
It's technically it's a complex hive. What is it? It's like Richard Mueller crossed with Prostechia vitellina or something like that.
Okay, if a big spider comes out of there when you do this, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Is there a spider in here?
I don't know.
Or are you just like,
I saw
see a spider going, right?
I saw a huge wolf spider on my porch, but it was not on this.
And you just assume it's hiding up.
Listen, I grew up in the woods. That's where they lived. I'm so scared I could throw up. I'm glad nothing happened.
How long do you want the hook?
I don't know where I'm gonna hang it yet.
So
You can just leave it like that and I'll trim it.
And then just bend it to wherever you want it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. Semi-professionally done.
Wow.
Cut, treated, mounted, all in one go.
Yay.
I'd give that a C- if I do so, if I do say so myself.
Well, it's a better job than I would have done.
But there we go. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this little bit of a long-winded video, you know. But we set out to do something and we did it. That's all that we can say about it. So hopefully it does not, the black rot does not return. If it does return, we shall do more work.
Or I'll just throw it
Or
away.
we'll throw it away. I feel really bad that we did all this on the tree fern, but you could always bleach it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not alive anymore, so.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.